Manchester United stand on the brink of an extremely unlikely domestic double. They secured the Carabao Cup with a 2-0 win over Newcastle in February and now have their sights set on an even greater prize, the FA Cup. Standing in their way are bitter rivals Manchester City on a seemingly unstoppable march towards a treble of honours. Stopping the Sky Blues will be the chef's kiss to any victory at Wembley for United, and another feather in the cap of Erik Ten Hag. The Dutchman clearly deserves massive praise for ending the Red Devils' 6-year trophy drought and is now guaranteed Champions League football for next season. Compared to how flat the mood was at Old Trafford 12 months ago, you'd think every United fan and pundit would be delighted with the former Ajax boss. But some are somehow still not totally sold, such as Dwight Yorke, who recently said that he should be called out for United's 9 league defeats, and Peter Schmeichel, who's hit out a perceived lack of leadership in the squad. It appears you can't please them all. So does Erik Ten Hag's first campaign in Manchester deserve more scrutiny, or are his critics plain wrong? Let's find out in today's episode of Football Daily Explained. Statistically speaking, it's hard to pick holes in Ten Hag's work. Although it's early days, especially compared to the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson, his win rate of almost 67% from 60 games in charge is better than any previous permanent manager on record at the club. The points tally of 1.92 points per game is only marginally worse than in 2020-2021 when they finished second, but a significant improvement on last season when United limped home in 6th. This is partially thanks to their best defensive display since 1920. Fueled by excellent signings like Lisandro Martinez and Casemiro, United have recorded the third tightest backline in the league, behind City and Newcastle, while David De Gea has claimed the Golden Glove with 17 clean sheets. In the words of Luke Shaw, Ten Hag has instilled a highly intensive and aggressive mindset that's producing results. From an attacking perspective though, they could be better. 1.5 goals a game is only on par with last season and down almost half a goal on 2021. However, levelling criticism at Ten Hag for this problem seems pretty misguided. United take plenty of shots, up there with the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal. Although a high percentage of their efforts come from range, they still test the opposition keeper 5.5 times a game. This is amongst the most in the division, while they're prolific on the counter-attack too, with United sitting deep and inviting on pressure before unleashing their wide men with quick transitional play. Yet the stats show Ten Hag has been let down by his team in the final third. 9 players have underperformed their expected goals by at least 1, from Aaron Wan-Bissaka to Christian Eriksen, who scored once but should have closer to 5. It means at present United's haul of 58 is 13.5 fewer than XG, a differential worsened by only Everton in the league. Ten Hag has on multiple occasions bemoaned his side's lack of cutting edge. After a recent 2-0 victory over Nottingham Forest, the Dutchman declared, "In big games, you don't create so many chances, so you have to score them." Though it's important to remember that the Red Devils lack options in attack. Marcus Rashford has led the charge with 17 league goals, mainly from the left. Their next top scorer is Bruno Fernandes on 8 and then Sancho on 6. Even the £82 million Antony has only produced 4 goals, although he was a signing Ten Hag pushed hard for. With January loanee Wout Weghorst adding little goal threat and Cristiano Ronaldo leaving for Saudi Arabia, pressure has been on Rashford's shoulders to carry the entire forward line. The result is he's played almost 1,000 minutes more than any attacker in the squad, while his output has unsurprisingly slowed down in recent months. If United want to build next season, new firepower is essential, as we'll be bulking out a squad that's been pushed to the brink this term. In the league, 26 players have featured so far, but among those, Ronaldo's left, while Facundo Pellistri, Kobe Manu and Donny van de Beek have barely played. Elanga and Garnacho have played just over 900 minutes between them too. It's meant a small portion of the squad have been burdened with too much responsibility, all in a campaign where United have reached 2 cup finals and played 12 times in the Europa League. Clubs like Manchester City will argue they have been in the same boat. However, the difference of quality and squad depth between the two is vast, an issue exacerbated by the fact the Red Devils have lost numerous key figures for much of the campaign. 13 different players have missed at least 5 games, including Eriksen, Martinez and most recently Sabitzer, giving United the 7th worst injury record in the league. Casemiro's 6-game absence for red cards also contributes to one of the worst disciplinary records as well. With all that in mind, Ten Hag deserves huge credit for engineering a top 4 finish, an achievement he's described as something like winning a trophy. He went on to say, "We're still not where we want to be, but we're back in the Champions League," and I think that was a really important step. Still, some of his critics have been loud, particularly Schmeichel's assessment that the squad lacks leadership. Harry Maguire is the captain, yet only started 16 times in all competitions this term after tumbling down the pecking order. Bruno Fernandes is vice-captain, but despite adding another 16 league goal involvements to his resume, the Portuguese midfielder has faced his own critics at times, especially when United were hammered 7-0 away at Liverpool, producing a performance that the Manchester Evening News described as essentially waving the white flag at Anfield. That defeat was one of 9 suffered in the league, a figure Ole Gunnar Solskjaer never hit once during his full seasons in charge. And another 8 of those came on the road, where the Red Devils have looked toothless against their rivals for European football. Of the league's final top 10, United only managed to win away at Fulham, losing to everyone else bar Tottenham, where they drew. It's a stark contrast to their home form, where only Brighton have beaten them. They've also struggled to recover in games where they've fallen behind, only walking away as winners 3 times from 14 occasions and claiming 2 draws. Their fragile nature was brutally exposed by Sevilla in the Europa League 2. First, United surrendered a 2-goal advantage to draw the home leg, with the Spanish league side scoring twice in the final 10 minutes, and then in a raucous atmosphere in Andalusia, Sevilla stormed home 3-0 winners thanks to a United performance that was littered with errors from Maguire and De Gea. After the game, Ten Hag admitted his side struggled with mental strength, saying what this team can do very well is bounce back in between games, what they can do less well is bounce back during a game to a setback. That is what we have to improve. He also acknowledged that the onus was on him to help his players better during these difficult moments. But again, in defence of the 53-year-old, United have only suffered consecutive defeats twice all season, including the very start of the campaign, and have been strong when defending a lead, only dropping 7 points from 26 occasions, a formidable record that only Liverpool can match. It's also important to acknowledge the heightened scrutiny the management and players receive at Old Trafford. Ten Hag and his squad have had to battle with plenty of noise away from the pitch, starting with the Cristiano Ronaldo saga that saw the forward conduct a sensational interview with Piers Morgan to force through a move. Along with hitting out at Ten Hag and the club's board, Ronaldo also criticised the young players in the team for not listening to his advice. Elsewhere, the debate over whether to hand De Gea a new contract has been rife all season, as have the futures of stars like Martial and Maguire, who continues to be one of the most abused footballers on social media. In fact, between August 2021 and January 2022, Ofcom found that 8 of the 10 most targeted players on Twitter played for Manchester United. And this has all taken place against the backdrop of the prospective sale of the club. Despite months of bidding and deadlines, it's still unclear whether Sir Jim Ratcliffe or Qatar's Sheikh Jassim will wrestle control from the Glazer family, in a process that Sky Sports' Kaveh Solokol has labelled totally undignified and unbecoming of a club of United's stature. Managing this United side without a clear future strategy or power structure in place must not have been easy, which only makes the team's success this season even more remarkable. As we've seen with Chelsea this season, problems behind the scenes can clearly have a major influence on a side. So the Red Devils may have suffered some questionable defeats and showed fragility in moments, but they're broadly back to winning ways, competing for trophies and playing with an intense and attacking mentality. Ten Hag's United is certainly taking shape, and some major signings in the summer will only help them close the gap on those above. In the words of Luke Shaw, it's pretty clear to see what direction Manchester United are going in. Although, let's not forget, we've heard all this before. Maybe this time the sentiment might ring true. So that was our look at Manchester United's season on FD Explained. If you liked the video, please do hit the like button, hit subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you later. Goodbye.